Okay, so a single massive explosion deep inside Iran has just put the entire Middle East on a knife's edge. We're not just talking about a military strike here. This is a story about a very high-tech weapon, a supercritical target, and frankly, what could happen next for all of us. Let's unpack the Isfahan strike. So, it all kicked off with this video. Apparently, it even popped up on President Trump's social media feed. You can see a massive blast just ripping through the night sky near Isfahan. And look, those are not fireworks. You see those huge fireballs and the secondary explosions that follow? That's a telltale sign that something really big, like an ammunition depot, just got hit. And it didn't take long for the story to come together. Within hours, news reports were citing U.S. officials who basically confirmed, yep, this was no accident, this was a deliberate major American strike. But from Iran? Crickets, just official silence, which, only made the whole thing even more mysterious. So this whole thing leaves us with two huge questions, right? First, what in the world was actually hit? And maybe even more important, why Isfahan? I mean, what's so special about this particular city that it would be the target of an attack this big? All right, to figure out the why, you really have to look at the target itself. Isfahan isn't just some random city on a map, no way. It's actually a super strategic hub right at the very heart of Iran's military and, crucially, its nuclear ambitions. You can think of Isfahan as part of a strategic triangle for Iran. It's got key military bases, it's a center for their defense industry, but the real reason it's on everyone's radar, the big red flag, is its major uranium enrichment facility. And some stuff that happened there recently really set off alarm bells all over the world. Yeah, this strike didn't just happen in a vacuum. Check out this timeline from June of 2025. On the 9th, satellites spot a truck that analysts believe is moving highly enriched uranium into an underground facility. Just 4 days later, boom, a conflict kicks off between Iran and Israel. And then, on the 22nd, that very same Isfahan facility gets hit by a U.S. bomb. The pieces start to connect, right? So, you gotta ask, what was on that truck? Well, by analyzing satellite images, experts came up with a pretty startling number, an estimated 534 kilograms of uranium. And this wasn't just any uranium. It was enriched to 60% purity. And that number is really important. And here's why everyone freaked out. See, getting uranium to 60% purity, that's the hard part. From there, it's just a short, technical hop to get to 90%, which is what you need for a nuclear weapon. So the big fear was that this one truck was carrying Iran's entire stockpile, and now it was all tucked away, deep inside a hardened underground bunker. Okay, so that presents a massive military problem. How do you possibly destroy a target that's buried deep under tons of rock and concrete? I mean, a regular bomb? That's not going to do anything. You need something special. You need a very specific tool for that job. And that special tool is the bunker buster. It's a weapon designed for one single purpose, to destroy things that are buried way, way underground. So what is it? Put simply, a bunker buster is an earth-penetrating weapon. Think of it like a giant, super strong dart. Its outer shell is made of incredibly hard steel, so it can just punch right through layers of soil, rock, and concrete that would make a normal bomb just flatten out on the surface. And we're not talking about small bombs here. The ones reportedly used in the Isfahan strike, they were 2,000-pound behemoths. Each one is basically an engineering marvel designed to deliver a massive punch with pinpoint accuracy. So how does this thing actually work? It's really a brilliant three-step process. First up, penetrate. The bomb's sheer weight and that hardened steel casing let it slice through the ground like a hot knife through butter. Step 2, delay. Now this is the magic trick. There's a fuse inside that just waits. And then step 3, explode. Only when the bomb gets exactly where it needs to be, deep underground, does it finally go off, destroying the bunker from the inside out. That delayed fuse, that's the absolute game changer. It's not just about being a big, powerful bomb. It's about delivering that power to the perfect spot before it detonates. And that's what lets it take out these super fortified targets that, for a long time, people thought were basically indestructible. Okay, so you've got this incredibly valuable target, and you've got this super advanced weapon. When those two things meet, the explosion isn't just physical. It creates these massive shockwaves, both geopolitically and economically, that you can feel all around the world. And what happens next is this really dangerous standoff. It's like a high-stakes chess match. On one side, you have the US sending a clear message that it's willing to escalate, to destroy critical infrastructure to get a deal done. And on the other side, Iran isn't backing down. They push back hard. They retaliate by blocking one of the most important shipping lanes on the entire planet, the Strait of Hormuz. Now, why is that little strait so important? It comes down to one number: 20%. Roughly 20% of the entire world's oil supply has to pass through that tiny little waterway. If you shut that down, you're basically clamping a vital artery of the global economy. And that means you and I feel it at the gas pump. And Iran is not messing around. They're cranking up the pressure. A parliamentary committee there actually voted to start charging tolls for any ship that wants to pass through. And even crazier, they voted to completely ban any ships from the US and Israel. The result? Well, market experts are already sounding the alarm, warning that oil prices could shoot through the roof, maybe to levels we haven't seen since the financial crisis back in 2008. So all of this, it brings us back to one final, really critical question. We've seen a very specific weapon hit a very specific target, and now the whole world is holding its breath. Threats are flying back and forth, the global economy is on shaky ground, and we're all left wondering, was this strike a calculated message, a risky move to force a deal, or was this the first shot in a war that's about to get much, much bigger?